that I hear from teachers is that when they're reading a book, they have interrupters. Now, I know that your story times can be very large.
Yes.
Like, even in the summer, how many kids do you think you maybe have at your story time?
We have about 400 people at the
Wow.
story time there, so that's like our top one, and
Yeah.
it would probably then be about 200 little kids.
Yes.
Or more.
Yes, so that's quite a few kiddos. But maybe when you're even in the library and you're doing one of your smaller, like 100 kids in the story time, if you have a child who is constantly interrupting you, how would you handle that?
It depends on how intense they are. If it's where they have to have your full on attention at all times, then I have to stop it because I can't give that when there's that many people in the room. So what I usually do is I'll test the waters first to see what I've got, because a lot of the kids I don't know. A lot of times, you guys, if you have a class, you know your people.
Exactly.
But if I don't know them, I have to see where we're at.
Yeah.
So I will engage once. Miss Sharon, Miss Sharon, Miss Sharon. Yes. They say your thing. Excellent. That's awesome. Let's go. And then you just move on, right?
Okay.
And then 2 seconds later, Miss Sharon, Miss Sharon, Miss Sharon, or they're just and they're intense because they just have to share that thing with you. So if I understand that they moved on to be super intense, I will say, hey, you know what? We can't talk about that right now because everybody's here. Can we talk after the story? And they'll usually, 99 chances out of 10, 100, they're going to say, okay. But then you have to make sure that after that story, you go back and say, hey, Johnny, what was it you wanted to tell me? They sometimes don't remember what it was,
Yes.
but a lot of those super intense
Yes.
ones will remember in great detail what they wanted. And sometimes it was, I wanted to tell you about something on that page in the book. So then you pick the book up, look at the page,
Okay.
and they tell you their thing. But it's usually after we're in like a transition and you have a couple seconds to
Yes.
give to them. But I always keep my promise and go back and do that touch base with them. If I have somebody that's completely off the wall, then I just ask. I have the luxury of parents
Yes.
in the room. I'm like, hey, I think he needs to go sit with you for just a little bit. Let's see if we can't guide his energy.
Absolutely. Yeah. So obviously our teachers probably aren't going to have a ton of kids in their story times. So I'm wondering how you would handle it. Let's say when you go to some of your child care centers and do story time and you only have like 20 kids. If you had a child interrupt you in that position, would you still, and it was about the story, would you still ask them to wait till the end, or would you maybe take their information and kind of play it into the book?
That's
What's
exactly
your
what I do.
advice with that?
When I have a small group of kids, 12 to 20 kids,
Okay.
I will engage. They're part of the story time.
Yes.
We have the complete luxury of taking that comment and engaging with it and that page and that story, and that usually then leads to 2 or 3 other kids saying, oh, I saw that too, or there's that thing right there, and
Yes.
then we'll just do a quick little thing, and then you wrap it up and you say, let's see what happens.
Yes.
And move on. So yeah, I will engage them in the story. It just depends on your crowd size, what
Yeah.
you do with somebody who just needs to engage with you. And how awesome is that? I need to talk to you. Okay.
Yeah, and I think that is just so good for teachers to hear, that they can let that story become maybe something else. Instead of just reading it page by page by page, just as the author has written. You know, I remember Mem Fox talked about this in her Reading Magic book. And she talks about bringing books alive. And I think it's just so important to be able to find ways to keep kids on task, still keep them in the story. You know, if it's obviously something completely off of the story,
Yeah.
then that
I have a new hat.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Let's talk about our fashion sense later. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So thanks for pointing that out.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to check that subscribe button so you're always up to date on all of our new videos. Thank you again, and we'll see you soon.